Welcome to the Pitcher Nail Down. I'm Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11, looking at pitching for tonight's 15-game slate. Actually, a fun pitching slate. You got Steven Strasburg, Chris Archer up top. You got some other names here that are somewhat intrigued by a good balance of GPP and cash, so should be no issue. Building lineups tonight, everything there that you could possibly want. Looking at the first guy, we'll start with the two aces on the slate. Chris Archer taking on Baltimore at home. Archer's been historically better at home in his career. That's the same this year, 29.9 K to walk ratio compared to 14.4% on the road. This is a guy who throws a slider over 40% of the time. Baltimore ranks 21st against sliders this year. They have an enormous strikeout rate against right-handers, 23%. You look at Archer, this has just been a broken record about this, but Baltimore's going to roll out 7 righties. Always look at what pitchers can do against right-handed bats, and that's Archer, 249 WOBA allowed this year, 30.5% strikeout rate against right-handers. A home favorite there, minus 185. Look at Baltimore's run total under 4. Should get back with some run support, given the fact that Ubaldo Jimenez is on the other side as well. So I love Archer a lot. I don't mind paying that price tag. I actually prefer him a little bit over Steven Strasburg tonight, who takes on the Reds. Reds are not a bad offense. 8th in WOBA, 10th in ISO against righties. They haven't been bad on the road, but obviously Great American Ballpark is it's a downgrade anytime you go on the road to everyone else. The strikeout rate, 21%. It's not bad, but it's definitely not as high as some of these other teams that we'll be looking to target. Strasburg's coming off a couple of bad outings, 8 earned over his last 10. Did have 15 strikeouts. Strikeout rate is there. I mean, it goes up 3% when at home. He has a 12.2% swinging strike rate. I don't mind Strasburg in cash. I'm probably going to be using a different duo. I'll probably be using, Archer, Fulmer, Wood, Fulmer, depending on what my lineup is. I see Strasburg more as a GPP arm. I don't quite think I'm going to be going that way in cash games. I just like some of these other prices a little bit better. And this next guy here, Mike Fulmer, is what I'm looking at. Going on the road against the Padres. Strikeout upside hasn't been there this year. I mean, he's never been a big strikeout guy, but only 4 starts over 5 strikeouts of 13 this year. But this is a team that does strike out a ton. I mean, against right-handers, they lead the league 25.7%. They're also bottom 5 in WOBA, WRC plus, and ISO against righties. So Fulmer has that GPP ceiling. He has that cash game floor. He's not a huge road favorite. That's because Perdomo on the other side, I can actually see having a good start. So we'll talk about him later on. But obviously Fulmer here, 9.7% swinging strike rate this year, 49% ground ball rate. Unfortunately on FanDuel, you're not getting a discount at all. DraftKings, you are 8,300. I really like that price. He's going to be popular tonight because of the price tag, just because you can fit bats in him and you're going to get a high upside, high floor pitcher anyway. So like him a lot. He's cash game and GPP playable on both sites, even with the high price tag. Alex Wood's that next guy. I mean, he's been tremendous this year. 67% ground ball rate, followed by a 29% strikeout rate. We've seen basically over his last 120 innings or so, a 55% plus ground ball rate, a 25% plus strikeout rate. That's a decent sample size over someone who's kind of figured things out. And he's gone 5 starts this year out of 10 where he hasn't allowed an earned run. Yes, sometimes he doesn't pitch deep into games. He'll go 5 or 6 innings, but he ends up with like 8, 9 strikeouts. And this is a lineup that does strike out quite a bit against lefties, 23.6%. On the road, they rank 17th in WOBA, 23.5% strikeout rate. I think Wood's excellent at playing all formats. I see him as a GPP move in FanDuel, but I don't mind him in cash or GPPs on DraftKings. So like Wood a lot. We get to Mike Foltynewicz at home against Milwaukee. This is where the risk starts to set in. This is solely a GPP play for a cheap option. Lefties, once again, giving him trouble. 402 WOBA, 34.8% contact rate. He's been tough on righties. 282 WOBA, 22% strikeout rate. There's going to be about 6 right-handed bats in here that he can, be able to mow down if possible. He's going to have to still deal with Eric Thames, Travis Shaw, Eric Sogar as the 3 lefties that are the concern. But Brewers rank, 11th in WOBA, 24.7% strikeout rate. He's been a little bit inconsistent, but we've actually seen some high upside games out of him, including one against Milwaukee. It was on the road, 21 DK points, and that's kind of where I'm looking to use him. I don't mind him as a single bullet on FanDuel, but 6,800 on DK as an SP2 is intriguing if you want to fit that high price stack in or stack some bats. So I don't hate the idea. He's a small home favorite. It's essentially actually a pick 'em, but he's an intriguing option. There is some upside. He's going to be low owned, but there is that blow up potential. So do note that. Last guy I do want to talk about is Luis Perdomo, going up against a right-handed heavy Tigers lineup. Alex Avila is the only lefty that there is concern with. But outside of that, I mean, Perdomo's intriguing. Against righties this year, lefties, he's been giving up over 370 WOBA. Righties, 317 WOBA, 27% hard contact rate, 24% strikeout rate. Walk rate goes down, 70% ground ball rate. If he can get some strikeouts and keep things on the ground against this Tigers team, I'm all for it. This is a low total out here in Petco. Both teams under 4. Perdomo's just 5.6 on DraftKings. And you take out his, Arizona start where he was in the negative on the road, take out his other Arizona start where he was at home, and everything's been kind of falling in double digit, 12, 15, 17, 21, 14, 16. I don't mind these spots. I mean, he's pitched well against some good offenses. On the road in Texas was absolutely fine. Usually works into the 6th inning. I wouldn't expect him to pick up a win, but it wouldn't shock me either. 5,600 though. I mean, he's worth a look. I'm not going to completely roll him out tonight. I think, a lot of people we can throw off down here. We look below 6K and it's just like, Mejia, Urena, Pelfrey, Jimenez. We're just not even considering these guys. But Perdomo's actually a decent pitcher. And against a right-handed heavy lineup, I would not be surprised to see him go out there and pitch well. There is some risk, but I think at that price tag, you can afford a little bit more risk. So he's definitely an intriguing option. So I think overall, I mean, you get some nice value in Fulmer and him on DraftKings. I think for me, once again, just to kind of recap, Archer, slight bump for me over Strasburg. I don't mind Strasburg's GPPs. I love Mike Fulmer tonight, and Alex Wood as well. Those guys are cash game playable. And then Perdomo, Fultonowitz are nice GPP value calls for me. A little bit of risk, a little bit of blow up upside, but I like the potential for strikeouts there. So let's grab things up with me. You can head over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out great tools and content.